Yeah, I would. Just don't forget to interrupt, detonate.
To stop my father, we need to infiltrate the city itself. And that means passing through the Robodrome.
First pull, we're pulling the pole straight ahead and the pole on the right side.
Watch your step. Watch your step.
Careful those fire circles.
In front. Watch your
Careful
step.
the saws.
Watch your step. Watch your step. Watch your step.
Watch the saw blades from the side.
Watch your step. Watch your step.
Saw blades again.
Watch your step.
Careful the roosters.
My
In front.
answer brings you power.
In front.
Take it.
Watch your step.
Don't forget, you do not want to get hit by the saw blades.
Now this is a statistical anomaly. Our visitors are still alive. Time to introduce
Hello, Deadshot.
them to
Welcome to
the
the stream.
legends of the Tussle Talks Arena. The Platinum Pummeler and No Mercy.
Yeah, I don't think the monk's running away.
The city's entrance is located just past this arena.
Monk came with a friend.
Hold your ground until we can clear a path.
Bow flipper, be careful not to get flipped onto any bombs. Platinum pummel is your tank buster. You want to use defensive during platinum pummel. Bow flipper again. Ground pound. Use defensive during ground pound. Ground pound is AoE damage on the party. Oh dang, my bad. Use the hammers to clear the shields on the main boss. We're gonna pull No Mercy for you and the boss with the second hammer. Careful the charge from No Mercy for you. And Platinum Pummel is your tank buster. You want to make sure you're using defensive every time he casts Platinum Pummel.
Target you.
Breaking the shield. We're gonna pull the boss over to the next hammer.
Target you.
Don't forget that the bosses do not share health. Watch the saw blades.
A willing sacrifice has been
Ouch.
prepared.
Smashed by the hammer. Breaking the robot shield. Focus the Apex. The Apex is always going to be our priority this week. Watch that bow flipper. Do not get flipped in any bombs.
Target you.
Moving the boss over to the next hammer. You want to make sure you keep taking these bosses on the outside of the room. Keep them near the hammers. Bow flipper, be careful with that bow flipper cast. Watch the saw blades. Shields up again.
Target you.
The robot's gonna die right here, and then we just have to focus down the no mercy for you.
A willing sacrifice has been prepared.
Surface dwellers! But we're still throwing them out with the trash! 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 Trash!
Running down below. We're gonna pull the saw blades and the 2 metal gunks. Watch that puncture cast. Don't forget that puncture is going to put a 5-second dot on the person with aggro or the tank. That's going to tick for almost 600,000 damage a second. Line of sight, the living waste. Puncture again. Careful that puncture dot. Corrosive gunk. After they start casting corrosive gunk, they're pretty much dead. You can move on to the next pull. You want to watch your party's health before moving on to the next pull and make sure that the corrosive gunk is not going to kill anybody. When the living wastes die, they will burst. They'll do a burst of damage on the party. You want to line of sight the living waste if you can. If not, just make sure you're using some kind of magic defensive. As a Death Knight, you can use anti-magic shell to keep the living waste from killing you. Dark Prayer is always the priority this week. Corrosive gunk. Mega Drill. During this Mega Drill cast, make sure you're using it offensive. Mega Drill will do massive AoE damage to you and your party. Pull the gunk again. Here, you're able to line of sight behind the pole when the living wastes are about to die. On some key levels, you have to line of sight. On others, you don't have to line of sight. Mega Drill. Careful with your health during Mega Drill. Puncture. Again, don't forget that puncture does put a 5-second dot on the tank or the person with aggro. That ticks for almost 600,000 damage a second. Apex is up again. Alright, we are going to pull the dog as soon as it pats back to us. 2 dogs on the left. Second pat and the far dog on the right. We pull these dogs to clear an open path for the boss. This way we can take the boss in the center of the room and we don't have to worry about the other 5 ads on the side of the room. You can use CCs or interrupts to keep the dogs from jumping on people. Pull the boss. Watch the crate. Remember, you never want to stand underneath the crate when it falls. First crate is clear to bring Cujo over near.
Find shelter.
Venting flames. You want to line of sight in 3, 2, 1. Line of sight Cujo. Don't forget that during the venting flames, everybody's going to take bursts of AoE damage. You want to make sure you are clear behind that crate before the venting flames goes off. After venting flames, Kujo's going to drop a second box. Stay away from the second box during the circle phase. You want to spread out during the circle phase without running Kujo over any of the boxes.
Find shelter.
Again, the Dark Prayer guy is your priority. Ideally, you put Kujo on the same side as the fire box. One of your boxes is going to be on fire, the other box will not be on fire. You want to make sure Kujo is on the side of the box with the fire box, whichever side of the box that may be. Explosive leap. Spread out with the explosive leap. Again, Kujo, you want Kujo between the two boxes. Line of sight. Blazing Chomp is going to be a dispel. Blazing Chomp is periodically placed on the tank. You want to make sure that you are dispelling Blazing Chomp whenever you see it. Spread out with the fire circles. We did hit the box, which means the box is going to explode on the next phase.
Find shelter.
Which means it is not safe to line of sight. You may be able to use defensive to keep it off of you.
My innocence.
Yep. Yeah, we should have baited the box closer to the edge so you had more room to spread out. Yeah, use hero.
Find shelter.
Yeah, I should have started Kujo close to the edge of the map. That way we had more room long term. Second box. Fire circles. Pulling Kujo between the boxes.
Find shelter.
Line of sight. Second box. Why can't I res? Targets are out of line of sight. Spread out with the circles. Oh, gotcha.
Find shelter.
Venting flames. Line of sight the flames. Thank you. New box. Remember to spread out your circles away from the box. Pull Kujo between the boxes.
Find shelter.
Line of sight the planting flames. Second box is coming down. Don't forget, you don't want to bait the second box too close to the first box. Spread out with the circles. pulling Cujo between the two boxes.
Find shelter.
Line of sight with venting flames. Spread out with the fire circles.
Find shelter.
Line of sight, venting flames. Boss is dead right now.
It'll take me weeks to rebuild him.
Careful with the fire. I think I touched every fire.
Warning, excessive levels of fresh detected.
Attention, citizens! Please remain in your domiciles.
We're going to use Abomination Limbs to pull all the ads together. Don't forget on the first phase, Giga Wallop is going to be your priority interrupt. Giga Wallop's going to pick a random target and shoot a burst of damage at that target. You want to make sure you're interrupting Giga Wallop every time you see the cast going off. And stay away from the squirrels. You cannot interrupt or CC the squirrels, you just can avoid the squirrels. Giga Wallop again. As soon as these last two ads die, we're going to get robots next. Ideally, you stand between the three vents and you pull all three robots together.
You dismantled a few of my lesser inventions. Let us see how you fare against something more.
As a tank without a death grip, I would recommend line of sighting the robots so that all three of them come together. Just make sure you have aggro on them first before you do that. As a Death Knight, you can stand in the middle vent and death grip the other two robots to stack all three robots. During a short out, you want to make sure you're using a defensive. Short out is a burst of AoE damage. Now you cannot CC MK3, but you can CC MK1 bots. So you do want to make sure you're using your CCs on the small robots and you are keeping them from casting. You want to use your CCs to keep them from casting repeatedly. Pull the mech in the center. Sonic Pulse. You can step left or right to avoid Sonic Pulse. You cannot avoid the AoE damage from the missiles that come out of the boss. Mini boss. Sonic Pulse.
Stay away from lines.
Capacitor Discharge. During the Capacitor Discharge cast, you want to make sure you are between the two bright colored lines and you are off of the blue floor.
Shockwave.
My emissary brings you power.
Shockwave.
Watch that frontal.
Shockwave. Stay away
Dark
from
Prayer
lines.
ad is always the priority. Again, during the Capacitor cast, stay between the two bright colored lines.
Shockwave.
As soon as this ad dies, the wall is going to come down to the right. We're going to go through that wall and run through this short maze that's ahead.
I want their stench removed
from my city.
I have activated all
If you're seen by one of the defense bots, these bots will zap you back to the beginning. You want to be very careful not to get seen by any of the robots.
Excessive levels of flesh detected. Warning.
If majority of your party's through and your healer is through, you're good to pull. You do want to make sure that your healer is through before you pull though, because these ads do deal a lot of damage to you. Watch the squirrel. Shield. This shield does protect you from the AoE damage here, but it does also protect the ads. You want to make sure the ads are outside of the shield during this pull. Also, do not blow the ads down the stairs. We had that happen one time and it was very hard to fix. Tune up. Tune up is a heal. Tune up is also your priority interrupt on this pull. It's gonna be tune up and then you go wall up.
Welcome to
A willing sacrifice has been
1, 2, 3. Oh, 5. I was missing the last guy. Okay, on the blossom.
AoE incoming.
As soon as you see the inconspicuous plant, you want to focus the inconspicuous plant. Keep in mind that the inconspicuous plant only shoots out oil when you kill it. It does not start shooting out fire until after the fire from the fountain is hit it. So if you kill the plant really fast, you are okay to stand by the plant for a second as long as the fountain has not hit it with fire yet. Watch these hedge cutters. Don't stand on any of the saw blades. Discombobulate. Watch that.
AoE incoming.
Fire ad is up. Focus down that fire. Again, you want to make sure you focus down this flower as quickly as possible. And be very careful not to get hit by any of the fire lines during this fight. Watch the blue circles on this fight. These blue circles do disorient you. And you want to make sure you are using your... You are not standing inside of any disorient circles. As a tank, you can maintain aggro if you're stunned, or if you're stunned, rooted, or interrupted, but if you are disoriented, you lose aggro on the ads, even if it shows you have aggro.
AoE incoming.
Hidden flames. Watch those hidden flames and focus down the flower that's up. I lost the boss. Oh, there it is. We have 40% left on the boss. Remember that the longer this boss takes to kill, the more trash and stuff that comes out.
AoE incoming.
Flower is up. Watch your health. Watch that fire line. Discombobulate. 27% left in the boss. We have 5 minutes on a res and no healer. Be very careful with your health. Don't forget that this boss and blast guy is going to pick a random target and start shooting at them repeatedly. You want to focus down that bomb or that flower as quickly as possible. 12% left on the ad, or on the boss. Sadly,
A willing sacrifice has been
because we only have one DPS up, the DPS will be targeted by all the mechanics,
AoE incoming.
and then after it dies, the tank is then targeted by all the mechanics. The boss does only have 3% health left. Let's not get disoriented, that would not be ideal. The boss does have the debuff on it right now from the Apex. So we are just healing ourselves, trying to wait for that debuff to go away before we use any major cooldowns on it.
AoE incoming.
Boss does have 1% health.
a willing sacrifice has been
Is this, we get the Apex right away, which means we get the buff going into the next pulse, so that's always good.
Shockwave.
Sonic pulse, step left or right to avoid the sonic pulse.
Shockwave.
We did pull the second ad. You gotta be careful with your health when both of these spider tanks start shooting out their rockets.
Shockwave.
Sonic pulse, step left or right to avoid the sonic pulse.
Shockwave. Shockwave. Shockwave.
We can commandeer that transport to access Mechagon's tower.
So, my misguided son returns. I'm impressed you made it this far.
You are no longer my father. Just a malfunctioning machine that must be shut down.
Poor child. If only you could accept the truth. The curse of flesh has run rampant across Azeroth, and I will replace it with mechanical
Careful with defense spots.
purity.
There's a squirrel in the middle of the robots. Be careful not to stand the squirrel. Hold all of our ads together. Make sure you're interrupting. Take a wallop.
my emissary. Brings you power. Take
You do want to utilize the shield, so make sure you're standing inside of the shields during the defense bots AoE cast. Take a wallop is your priority interrupt here. I don't recommend taking out any pets during this phase because you're not going to be able to dismiss your pets before the next area. Take a wallop, interrupt, take a wallop. Short out. You can't use the shield if you're going to short out. To hide from the short out cast. I almost summoned my goal right now, that would not have been ideal. So you can mind suit these ads, hug the left, and skip the ads. Another option here is you can actually pull all the ads into the boss room. You can pull all the ads in the boss room and die as the tank. Just pull them all in and to the right. Let your party go in and to the left, and then die. That is another way you can skip. I don't recommend that way to skip, but you can do that.
Willing sacrifice has been prepared.
Alright, we're gonna die and we're gonna try that again. Alrighty, I don't know. Maybe you can skip on the right. Don't pull the ads up the stairs. Weird. Alright, pulling all the ads. Careful that short outcast. Again, use the shield generator to hide from the short outcast. You want to make sure you are inside the shield generator and the ads are not inside the shield generator. Short out. Use defensive during short out.
A willing sacrifice has been prepared.
Witness perfection.
Careful that pulse blast. Make sure you're facing pulse blast away from your party.
You cannot elude my targeting system.
I mean Mega Zap. Make sure you're facing Mega Zap away from the party.
Watch all.
Careful those blue circles.
You cannot elude my targeting system.
Mega Zap. Face Mega Zap away from the party.
Run.
Take off. What's that cutting beam?
You cannot elude my targeting system.
Watch all.
Orbs are coming. You want to make sure you are not standing where the blue circle is, or between any of the orbs and the blue circle.
A willing sacrifice.
You cannot elude my targeting system.
Mega Zap.
You cannot elude
If you're
my
low on
targeting
health, you want to make sure you're using defensive during Mega Zap.
Watch all. Run.
Activating thrusters. You cannot elude my targeting system.
That Mega Zap cast.
Watch all.
Watch the blue circles.
You cannot elude
Run
my
out.
targeting system.
Mega Zap.
Watch all. Run.
Activating thrusters. You cannot elude my targeting system.
Boss has 33%. Don't forget that this boss
Watch
fight actually has 3 phases. First phase is here with Pink Mechagon inside of the small mech. The second phase, after we've killed the small mech, Mechagon jumps into a large mech. After you've killed the large mech, you kill King Mechagon himself. He actually, the third phase is very easy. The first two phases, you want to make sure you're watching the mechanics and you are not eating any of the electricity. I don't think that's, yeah.
Phase 2.
You wish to test my true ordnance? Happily obliged.
Watch those blue circles. Remember that the blue circles can't hit you off of the edge, it's melee. You gotta make sure you're not standing right on the edge, especially if you see those blue circles on you.
Magnetic grapple engaged.
Run.
When the boss says magnetic grapple engaged and casts magneto arm, you want to make sure you are not standing in the way of any of the bombs. The boss will pull all the bombs back and reset them. Make sure you're not standing between any of the bombs and the boss.
Run out.
Keep in mind that after that phase, all of the bombs will be reset, which means they will be coming from your melees back again. So make sure you do not get hit off the edge with any of those bombs.
All power to weapons.
Run out.
Magnetic grapple engaged.
Run.
Watch that magnetic grapple again. Don't forget that this Apex does give you a buff. You want to make sure you're killing it. 55% left on Mechagon. Careful those blue circles. Boss has 37% left. Mega Zap, be careful with that Mega Zap. Ouch. %25 left on the boss.
Run.
Magnetic grapple again.
Moving.
Let the ads go back to their magnet. Do not stand between the magnet and the ads. Watch that Dark Prayer ad. Make sure you're focusing it down as quickly as possible. Although we did learn today that it does not buff bosses. We still want to kill it because it does give you a buff. Still, any damage buff is helpful. We have 9% left on the boss.
All power to weapons.
That Mega Zap. We finished 11 Mechagon workshop.